Now, there are other families who were forced to sell their home because they couldn't afford it. Let's talk a little bit about the Simpson family. Now, in 2010, the Simpson family was chosen by the show to have their home renovated to fit their family's growing needs. Jim and Carmen Simpson were more than deserving of the makeover. Jim ran a small company and the minister of a local church, while Carmen was a devoted stay-at-home mother who schooled the kids. Their youngest child, Zoe.
Think about a second. Before he talks about their youngest child, I want you to put this in perspective, okay? Business, he runs a company, and he's a pastor of a church. Now, I'm a pastor's daughter. Both of my parents were pastors. We didn't see them, okay? Their life was at church. So this man who runs a company and is a pastor is probably never at home, okay? And his wife is homeschooling all of their children. I homeschool one child, and y'all ain't seen me in 2 months. We actually just finished a science project at 3:27, right before I came on the air at 3:30. Okay. So I understand what it takes when you're homeschooling a child. It is a 24/7 dedication. And she's homeschooling more than one child. So I want you to put that in perspective as we talk about this youngest child. And what happens with this youngest child. Thank you, Douglas. I appreciate your support. I really do. Thank you. Let's continue. Well, this was before families really could be trolled, Michael. This was before YouTube only came around in 2009. Okay. It's only gained as much popularity in the last 10 years, and and other forms of social media are even younger than that. So this was before families could really be trolled. Okay. But I was able to use the internet when I watched this video the first time and come to a conclusion about what actually happened. YouTube is TV now. Shout outs to YouTube. So let's continue. So you got this dad who's a pastor and a pastor and a business owner, which means he's never at home. And you got this woman who's given birth to all these children. I think they had 4 or 5 kids, and she's homeschooling all of them, which means from the time she wakes up until the time they go to bed, she is at their command. Every single meal, every single activity, every single assignment. She doesn't have the option of doing anything else without them. Most likely they don't have any outside childcare, any nannies, anybody that comes in and gives her a break. Most likely she is constantly with these children. And then she gets pregnant again. So let's continue.
Was unfortunately born with hydrops fetus, which is a serious fetal condition with a 50% survival rate. To accommodate
the baby, their last baby was born with hydrops fetus. Now, my intuition said that sounds like a fetal alcohol syndrome related disease to me. I don't know why. I just feel like it might be. So I did a little Googling as I was recording the original version of this episode. And I come to find out the only way a child can have hydrops fetus is through a fetal alcohol syndrome related disease. Let's put it in perspective. It was easy for me to figure it out. This woman is constantly with her kids. I took a shot of rum earlier while I was making lunch. Okay. This woman is constantly, but I'm not pregnant. She took a shot. She almost said she took a shot of rum. This woman is constantly with her kids. Her husband is never at home, and she gets pregnant again. Number one, that might not even be his baby. Okay. Number two, she has to think about the fact that now she got another little nigga to take care of, in addition to all the other things she has to do. I guarantee you this woman was drinking during her pregnancy. I guarantee you. She'd have to prove to me she wasn't, because the Googles told me she was. The Google served my intuition quite well and confirmed that it's very likely that she gave her child fetal alcohol syndrome, and now he has a developmental disease. But we're gonna build them a new house. We're not gonna figure out what actually happened. We're not going to find out what happened with this child and how it happened and how this child could possibly be the only child of 6 children with this kind of disorder. So it's obviously not genetic. We're not going to do any research, bring any doctors in, do any family therapy. We're not going to do none of that. We're just going to build them a house. We're not going to reveal the fact that this woman can't even do a fucking interview for television without children climbing all over her, and her husband don't even reach over to grab the child. So how are we surprised that her baby got a fetal alcohol syndrome related disease? We're not going to do none of that. We're just going to do a TV show.
For Zoe's special needs, the team incorporated a therapy room just down the hall from his brothers and sisters that included a cork flooring and visually stimulating features to assist with his cognitive and motor development. The home also got a heated pool. So, wow, okay. And while this
That's all good, but are we going to deal with her alcoholism? Are we going to deal with the fact that her husband ain't never home and they probably have a sham and a shamble of a marriage? And that these children probably witness things at home that a child wouldn't witness at home if their parents were at peace, or if she had enough courage to go and leave and raise them on her own in a peaceful home like some of us do? We're not going to deal with the root cause. We're just going to make a TV show.
Family got a home that they deserved and was accustomed to them and their needs, they couldn't afford it.
Simpson family still unpacking boxes after a week they will never ever forget. At some point, though, the cameras will be gone and life will return to normal. Today, they spoke to our Deidre Johnson about where they go from here and the experience that has changed their lives.
The family is still trying to take it all in.
I keep having these moments where I just stand.
So now she finally gets some recognition. Now, you can tell this nigga ain't shit by what he's about to say, but she finally gets some recognition. She finally got somebody applauding her, because what most pastors' wives really want is just some recognition and respect. Okay, my mama was one. Okay, she didn't get the recognition and respect she needed until my daddy actually made her a co-pastor. But what most pastors' wives want is they want to be famous too. They want to be recognized too and acknowledged just like the pastors. They got the same disease. That's why they married them. So she finally got some recognition, because her having a deformed baby didn't get it for her. But it did to the point that she got a new house. But now the television stations are at the house. Now her family is important. But we're still not going to talk about what happened. Okay. But let's let him confess.
And just begin to reflect and think, how did I get here?
After being selected by the Extreme Home.
This nigga said, how did I get here? I've been sleeping around on my wife. I'm never at home. I can hardly take care of her and pay the bills. I've created a family I can't afford. How did I become one that deserves all this? Oh, thanks to my deformed child that my wife created because she drank too much during her pregnancy.
Makeover team, the little things like finding something in their brand new house has been a journey.
It felt like you were staying away somewhere else, because you're in a new place and everything. But it was exciting.
I love the architecture of it. It's kind of American Gothic vibes.
And, trying to find toilet paper. That was an adventure. Trying to find, napkins or spoons or forks.
Many say that this house is a miracle.
And it wasn't by accident that shot included the name of the church, because this is not about the child. This isn't about the child. This isn't about fetal alcohol syndrome and that women still drink too much during their pregnancies, that women are stressed and raising children by themselves, even though they're supposed to be married, and carrying the mental and emotional load of an entire household while they give a man the glory. This ain't about none of that. This ain't about what's really happening in America, but it got revealed.
For the Simpsons, though, the true miracle is the life they have lived and the blessings they have received.
Now, that was a really nice makeover, I must admit. But despite the house being perfect for the family's needs, the increase in bills and taxes eventually...
Hey, before we get into the finances, Douglas, what is a Rogu baby? My baby is a Rugal baby. She was born in Rugal, Jiangsu. Rugal Nantong Jiangsu. Jianghua. Oh, man, I never saw that on American Dad. I've only seen a few full episodes. That's hilarious.
Became too great for the family to keep up with. In 2011,
but if this nigga couldn't even afford the 6 kids he had, what makes you think you're going to be able to keep up with the upfit of a new house? That's crazy to me.
2011 and 2012, the Simpsons paid their steep property taxes several months late, accruing interest and penalties along the way. By 2012, the family decided to put the house up for sale. Quote, "This was the wisest decision for our family right now. I do want to make sure everyone knows we're not ungrateful."